James in the Net News Ledger studio. I'm here with Jim Mauro. Jim has just declared for Northwood. The deadline, of course, is 2 o'clock on Friday. Jim, you're running in Northwood Ward.
Yes, it's where I've grown up since, in the last 47 years. When my parents moved in 1966, we opened up a family store on Churchill Drive. My wife and I absolutely love the area. We've lived there our entire lives with our children. And it's where I started all of my volunteer work back in 1973, 74. So there was really no other choice. That was the best location to run in.
What are you hearing the issues in Northwood as you've been going through the summer and making a decision to run?
Well, the active campaigning hasn't begun for us yet. I just registered today, but in people I've been talking to, there's a number of issues. Certainly, the sewer system that's been problematic in Northwood for well over a decade, that's still not resolved. You have some of the roads in the community are really below grade, are really going to be problematic after another harsh winter that haven't been repaired yet. You have the issue about the event center as to those that are for it, those that are against it, and certainly over the last little bit, crime has become one of those areas that seems to be on everybody's consciousness now. And some of the issues that are being discussed about crime are issues I raised publicly almost 2 decades ago. So there's a far greater awareness with regard to that issue in particular and some of the other challenges that are facing the community.
Now, we've got a lot of speculation in the community on the event center, the crime issue, as you said. Thunder Bay's in a transitional period, it appears, and so there's sort of two schools of thought. One of them is that we stay the course, and others we get new blood into council. What voices would you bring to council that aren't there now?
James, I think one of the things that I bring to this election process, and hopefully, if I'm fortunate enough, to City Council, is my ability to look at an issue and analyze it and maybe ask questions that haven't been asked. Certainly using the crime as an example, for many years I was publicly speaking about the level of violence in the community, and it took a long time for that to resonate in the city, and it's unfortunate that it's taken that period of time. But over the last 3-4 years we've seen a greater emphasis on combating some of the issues that the community faces. And I think it's, my willingness to ask tough questions, my willingness to look at issues perhaps in a different way, given my varied background, and my tenaciousness to do what's necessary in order to make or bring up solutions that work for the community.
Now, we talked a little bit about some of the charity work that you've done in the past. What kind of things have you all done for our viewers so they know a little bit more about what you've done?
Well, James, I started coaching baseball when I was about 13 years old. There's kids now that have kids that that I've coached. It's so fun to run into them. I was involved with Shelter House for a number of years, Northern Cancer Research Foundation, children's charities, certainly, with Easter Seals. And Shelter House was one of those where, as the chair of the fundraising committee for their largest fundraiser, it required a great deal of time and a lot of hours, but certainly something that was needed in our community and is still needed in our community. I think that there's a greater acknowledgement that the challenges that are being faced in our community are going to require our community to fix them. There's not going to be one magic bullet that's going to solve the ills that Thunder Bay faces. And I think we can't just pretend that some of these challenges aren't there. I think we're going to need people on City Council that bring a level of commitment that perhaps doesn't currently exist, and an unwillingness to not take no for an answer. It's not we can't solve these problems. It's let's go do it. Yep. Let's stop talking about some of these issues and let's go tackle them and make a better community for our children.
And I'm sure between now and the 27th of October, we'll be talking several times. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, James. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.